Hi, now you can follow some interviews we conducted with some Latin American companies here in our Brazil Investment Forum 2025. What is your perspective for this year and the coming years in Argentina for Superviel?
Okay. One of the most important things in Argentina is a decline in inflation. And if the decline we saw in 2024 continues in the incoming years, the banking industry is very low penetrated with less than 10% on loans to GDP, not more than 13% in deposits to GDP. So compared to any of the rest of the countries in the region, we are with very low penetrations and definitely with great opportunity. So if inflation continues to go down, if the economic activity continues growing as we saw in the last part of 2024, we should see multiple years of growth in the industry. So again, at Superviel, we are focusing in terms of growing in customers, growing in good quality customers as well, growing maybe at the beginning of 2024, we started with asset-backed loans, but at the end of the year, we already started growing very fast in terms of personal loans to payroll customers, to pension customers. So this is what the dynamic we should see in 2025 for our customers as well. Also, continuing the digitalization process we saw in the previous years. This year, we are adding some more products and also integrating our digital platform or the retail investment platform we have at Superviel, which is Invertir Online. We are including all their investment opportunities within the Superviel app, so becoming or continue building our ecosystem and our super app at Superviel. So that's mainly what we should expect for this year and in coming years. If the economy helps, if economic activity grows, if inflation continues going down, we should see this multiple year of growth in the country and for us as well.
So Santiago, I would like to better understand the dynamic of the price per square meter in Argentina during the last years and how this is similar to São Paulo, Santiago, even Mexico City. So if you could better explain to us the dynamics of what happened during these last years.
Well, yeah, and this is surprising, no? Because in Argentina, we do not have mortgages. Mortgages to GDP is less than 1%. But it's the way we save our money in the country. In volatile scenarios, in inflationary environments like the ones we passed ever in Argentina, we like real estate as a way to save our money because it's a protection, it's dollarized. So Buenos Aires is one of the, probably it's in the top 5 in the region, highest price per square meter. We are in levels of $2,500 per square meter, used apartment, average, and almost 3,000 in a good district, the new apartments. And some areas like 4,000, the top markets like, well, Puerto Madero is averaging $5,000, even higher. We have a big project there that I will give you some details after. But we come from 4 or 5 years of a lot of volatility in the FX, capital controls in the country. So in that scenario, prices were a little bit down, but compared to bonds or shares, they were very resilient. Real estate is a very resilient sector. Now, with the new model in Argentina, with the new administration, and the new cycle that is more pro-market, the tax amnesty and the development of mortgages in the country that are linked to inflation, these UBA loans, are boosting the sector a lot. Prices are going up again by between 10 to 20%, depending on the neighborhood. And we are very optimistic on the evolution of the real estate market because if we develop the mortgage market in Argentina, that's going to be a game changer for the sector, for the country, and for IRSA as well. IRSA has like 300,000 sea-level square meters to receive in the future from swaps agreements, from future developments on the residential front. Something that nobody considers. In the general evaluations, investors consider the rental properties, the shoppings, the offices, and and the hotels, and not these residential future sales coming from the land bank that we own in our current portfolio.
In terms of how have you been seeing the dynamics for the markets in Argentina last year, and if you could also mention the main opportunities and challenges after the acquisition of Telefónica in Argentina.
Of course. You know that telecommunications markets tend to be very challenging in terms of the technological advance and the amount of competition that traditional telecoms face every year. Every 5 years in Argentina, you have a major development in terms of technological barriers. So there are still disruptive effects of like hyperscalers, new satellite companies, OTTs. So essentially, we face a lot of competition in these markets, and we have to think about maintaining the leadership into the business that Telecom has been sustaining over the course of the last years. And in this sense, we are developing new ways of upgrading our revenue streams, such as creating a digital business ecosystem with the advancing of our B2B segment, and also with personal pay. That is an initiative that contributes into creating a digital business ecosystem for payments in Argentina. And additionally, you see that of course these markets in Argentina particularly are very interesting because they have a lot of opportunities to grow in terms of the comparison of the level of ARPUs versus the other countries in the region. So I think that there's a story of the Argentinian telecommunication market that's very interesting in terms of growth that is somewhat rare when you compare it with other telecom markets. And in this sense, I think that the strategy in terms of consolidating M&A with Telefónica is something that always Telecom in this strategy has been following in terms of leading the market through revenue share, market share, and sustaining the amount of NPS. So I think that this contributes a lot in this strategy, and essentially because the way that Telefónica was functioning into the competitive scenario that we have been seeing in Argentina, this is a transaction that will enable a market repair into the Argentinian markets and to upscale the market into upgrading connectivity for every Argentinian subscriber and client into the standards of the region. So I see that this is always what Telecom has followed in order to consolidate as a leader in terms of connectivity and entertainment. The other one is to grow new revenue streams into the digital market. And the final, in terms of strategy, I would say that it's dreaming big and consolidating a greater presence in the region. I see that this is an objective that we have been setting for ourselves over the medium term.
What are the main opportunities, growth opportunities for EGS in Argentina?
We focus on the midstream business. The idea is to convert the conditioning plant to an extraction plant. That means that we are going to extract in Vaca Muerta not only the gasoline, also the propane, butane, and ethane. This is an investment of $2.5 billion. We are working with the producers in Vaca Muerta in terms to define the commercial contracts and also the technology of the investment. The expectation is to start the construction of this business in 2026. This is something that we're very focused. Now all these products are consumed in Buenos Aires for heating and cooking. There is a big opportunity to export all the production of this facility, because Argentina is not going to consume more propane, butane, or gasoline. So there is a big opportunity to export more than $3 billion in terms of products. So we're very confident in terms of this project, and of course it will generate more EBITDA, non-regulated EBITDA. Okay, when you think in TGS in 3-4 years, more than 70% of the EBITDA is going to be non-regulated. Well, we are changing the profile of the company in terms to continue growing.
So then I would like to explore a little bit more some details of the company. So basically, what is the long-term outlook in terms of revenue growth and margins for the company, and what are the main drivers to reach that results?
Great. So I think in order to understand where we're going, you have to understand a little bit of where we've come from. Arcos over the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years has been building itself into really a position of strength in the region. Today we see in terms of market share, in terms of brand strength, in terms of operating efficiency, probably the best numbers the company's ever reported. Last year we reached a record $500 million in EBITDA, and that compares to sort of the mid 250 to 290, talking about 2018 and 2019. So even with all the turmoil of the last 5 and 6 years, the company's managed to deliver, I think, very strong EBITDA growth, significant EBITDA margin expansion. And that's the base off of which, or the position of strength that we talk about on a move forward basis. And what's worked for us and what I think will continue to work is our 4D strategy of digital, delivery, drive-through, and development. I think we have the leading digital platform today in the region in terms of downloads, active users, and there are markets, in fact, where the downloads of our app rival those of the delivery aggregators, which is, I think, a sign of how popular the app has become. And those have been the drivers of the business, and I think on a move forward basis, as we digitalize some of our second largest markets, let's call it Mexico, for example, that today is only about 40% modernized on the restaurant base compared to the most modernized, which is Brazil, still has a lot of room to grow. And I think, some of those drivers around the growth of digital, the growth of delivery, the growth of drive-through, and the expansion into the region are what will continue to drive both same-store sales growth above inflation, as well as, I think, incremental opportunities to improve margins, especially as the NOLAD and SLAD divisions improve their profitability, their efficiency, and start to close the gap in profitability with the Brazil division, which is our leading business.
To follow our content, stay tuned in our YouTube channel.